honey badgers are not just fearless, but astonishingly clever.
Honey badgers learn the code of defense. Don't back down, or you're dead. This family runs right into a lion's trap.
Florida has a python problem. Their solution? It was allegedly Project 110X. 110 elite honey badgers, nature's most fearless fighters, set loose in the swamp. We are exploring the story that vanished. Official reports were filed, then redacted. Sightings were logged, then deleted. Why did they erase a project that might have been working? The answer involves a shocking discovery, a terrified bureaucracy, and a creature that refused to follow the plan. The 110X mystery. It all started with a whisper, a joke shared by exasperated wildlife rangers in South Florida. But the thing about whispers in the digital age is that they travel. In the late 2010s, a wild rumor hit the internet. Florida was planning to fight its python invasion by unleashing honey badgers. People laughed. It sounded, to put it mildly, like peak Florida man energy, a chaotic solution to a chaotic problem. It was too wild, too absurd, too stupid to be real. And then, just like that, the joke became real. Between 2021 and 2023, a series of strange reports began to surface. Python hunters, the hardened veterans who track the invasive giants, started finding things that made no sense. They found multi-million-dollar python nests torn to shreds, the eggs cracked and consumed. They found adult python carcasses, some over 10 feet long, not shot or trapped, but mauled. The remains were ripped apart by small, powerful claws and teeth. Local fishermen and airboat captains reported seeing a low, fast, black and white shadow moving through the sawgrass. The online forums lit up. The local news tentatively asked questions. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, or FWC, was hammered with inquiries. Their response was a masterclass in bureaucratic silence. They issued vague statements about ongoing invasive species management and misidentification. They suggested the tracks were otters, the mauled snakes were alligator encounters, but the hunters knew better. What many overlooked was that an alligator tears and rolls. This was different. This was fury. The whispers gave the project a name, Operation 110X, or 110X. The number was specific, 110. 110 honey badgers, secretly imported and released. As the evidence mounted, the FWC's silence grew louder. Then, the clampdown began. It wasn't just silence, it was an active erasure. Online forums discussing the sightings had entire threads deleted. Local journalists who got too close reported quiet warnings. The FWC's own public-facing field logs, which had briefly mentioned unidentified mustelid activity, were suddenly redacted. Pages vanished from the server. The 110X experiment was not just stopped. It was being unhappened. It was scrubbed from the digital record, buried in a shallow grave of no comments and 404-page errors. Why? Why would a state, famously desperate to solve its python crisis, suddenly cover up what looked like the first good news in decades? You see, the laughter had faded, replaced by a chilling realization. The experiment hadn't just worked. It had worked too well. And in the process, it had unleashed something that terrified the officials far more than the pythons ever did. But to understand the cover-up, you must first understand the desperation. Before the badger. To understand why Florida would even consider such a crazy idea, you have to rewind. You have to understand that the Everglades was a war zone, and Florida was losing. Badly. The Burmese python is a perfect invader. It arrived in Florida not as an army, but as a novelty. In the 1980s and 90s, they were the ultimate exotic pet. But here's the kicker. Those tiny $500 snakes grow. They grow 1 foot a year for years until you have a 20-foot, 200-pound predator that can unhinge its jaw to swallow a deer. When pet owners got overwhelmed, they had two choices, a bullet or the canal. Many chose the canal. Then came 1992. Hurricane Andrew, a Category 5 monster, tore through South Florida. It didn't just rip up homes, it flattened exotic animal breeding facilities. Hundreds, possibly thousands of pythons were scattered into the Everglades like seeds in the wind, and they thrived. The Everglades was a buffet. It was warm, wet, and full of food that had no idea what a giant constrictor was. The impact was not just bad, it was apocalyptic. A landmark study revealed a horrifying statistic. In the hardest-hit areas of the Everglades, populations of raccoons and opossums had dropped by over 90%. Rabbits? Gone. Foxes? Vanished. The silence in the swamp was deafening. The pythons, with no natural predators, were dispatching an entire ecosystem, one mammal at a time. A single female can lay up to 100 eggs. The math became exponential. Florida threw everything it had at the problem. They tried bounty hunts, offering cash for every python. It barely made a dent. The snakes are masters of camouflage. They tried training dogs to sniff them out. They even captured pythons, fitted them with tracking devices, and released them, hoping the Judas snakes would lead them to breeding grounds. Nothing worked for long. The pythons just kept breeding, eating, and expanding. The desperation in FWC boardrooms was palpable. Millions of dollars were being spent annually just to manage the problem, not even to fix it. They had tried science, they had tried manpower, they had tried technology. What was left? What many overlooked was a half-joking email from a field biologist in 2018. The subject line read, "A ridiculous idea." The body of the email was short. It linked to a grainy video of a honey badger in Africa. The badger, weighing maybe 30 pounds, was relentlessly attacking a 6-foot cobra, shrugging off venomous bites, and eventually dispatching and eating the snake. The email added one line. "Maybe we need to fight wild with wild." It was supposed to be a joke, but in a room where every serious idea had failed for 20 years, the joke wasn't funny. It was interesting. The honey badger, Mellivora capensis. Tough, loose skin that's almost impossible to pierce. An immunity to snake venom that scientists still don't fully understand. And, most importantly, a complete and total lack of fear. It is nature's brawler, a creature that doesn't know how to back down. The idea was planted, and in the desperate, humid quiet of the FWC, it began to grow. They needed a monster to fight a monster, and they had just found the perfect candidate. The Eris leak. The story would have remained buried forever if not for one person. Let's call him Dr. Eris, the name he used when he leaked the documents. Eris was a mid-level biologist contracted by the FWC, a man who, in his own words, watched the Everglades die for a decade. He was also one of the lead monitors on Project 110X. The documents he leaked are astounding. This wasn't a haphazard release. This was a calculated, secretive, and very expensive military-style operation. The thing nobody tells you is that Florida didn't just grab 110 random honey badgers from a zoo. The leaked procurement orders are specific. They sourced a particular subspecies from a remote part of the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. Why? Because this specific lineage was famous for its ophiophagy. Its diet consisted of almost 80% snakes, from puff adders to mambas. They were, quite literally, the most specialized snake neutralizers on Earth. The cost was staggering. Each animal, including capture, transport, and a 30-day quarantine, cost the state, or, as Eris's documents suggest, a private conservation fund, over $30,000. The entire operation was based out of a decommissioned agricultural research facility in a remote part of Hendry County, miles from public land. It was retrofitted with high-security, deep-earthed enclosures. The 110X wasn't just a number, it was a strategy. The documents show 100 badgers were designated as the primary force. 10 were held in reserve, and 10 were fitted with highly advanced solar-powered GPS collars. These 10 scouts would provide the data. In the spring of 2021, the release began. Small teams, operating at night, transported the badgers in specialized carriers deep into the Big Cypress National Preserve and the Fakahatchee Strand, the known hot zones for python breeding. It was a whole different ballgame. They weren't just dropping them off, they were deploying them. The initial data that came back from the 10 scouts was, as Dr. Eris wrote in a field note, world-changing. The badgers did not wait. They did not acclimate. They got to work. Within 48 hours, the GPS trackers showed the scouts had located and investigated what turned out to be python nests. Drone teams, sent in for visual confirmation, were speechless. The badgers were gorging themselves. They were systematically hunting and eliminating juvenile pythons. One tracker, from a male badger they nicknamed Stoffel, after a famous badger escape artist, told a truly WTF story. The GPS showed him moving into a dense hammock and then not moving for 6 hours. The team was sure the badger was gone, perhaps taken by a gator or a bigger python. When they flew the drone over, they found the badger sleeping soundly on top of the carcass of a 12-foot Burmese python. The reports were euphoric. In the first 6 months, in the monitored zones, python nest activity dropped by 60%. The badgers were doing what an army of human hunters could not. They were winning. The data was incredible, but it also showed something they never, ever planned for. A new king. The problem with releasing a creature famous for not caring is that it really doesn't care. It doesn't care about your mission parameters. It doesn't care about your test zones. And it certainly doesn't care about your expectations. Dr. Aris's leaked notes show the shift in tone. The euphoric reports of 2021 turned into nervous, then frantic emails by 2023. The 110X project had 2 fatal flaws. First, the pythons were a food source, and when you provide an apex predator with an unlimited food source, it does what nature intended. It makes more apex predators. The badgers weren't just surviving, they were breeding. Believe it or not, the wet, humid swamp, which biologists thought would be a deterrent, was just fine. The badgers found the high ground, the dry hammocks, and started digging. By the second year, field cameras were capturing something no one thought possible: cubs. Second, the badgers are smart. They are, by some measures, one of the most intelligent carnivores on the planet. They learned, adapted, and then got bored. The pythons, especially the big ones, were work. The nests were seasonal. But you know what isn't seasonal and is much easier to catch? Everything else. The GPS data from the scouts started showing a terrifying new pattern. The badgers were expanding their territory. They were leaving the deep swamp and moving toward the coastal estuaries. They were brilliant swimmers, and they had developed a new taste. They were raiding the nests of protected sea turtles, an easy meal of eggs and hatchlings. They were climbing trees, something they rarely do in the Kalahari, to get at the nests of endangered wading birds, the very species the python eradication was supposed to save. One wow factor note from Aris describes a badger repeatedly breaking into a gator-proof research pen containing rare native tortoises. The team added 3 different types of smart locks. The badger figured them all out in under a week. Here's the kicker. They weren't just a threat to native wildlife. They were a threat to the alligators. This wasn't just a theory. It was a terrifying new reality. The FWC received an absolutely chilling report from a seasoned hunter out in Hendry County. He described a scene straight out of a nightmare: a 30-pound badger in a full-on no-holds-barred brawl with a 6-foot alligator. They were fighting over a deer carcass, and the badger was winning. The hunter watched, stunned, as the alligator, an animal with a legendary multi-thousand-pound bite force, simply couldn't get a grip. Its teeth kept sliding off the badger's impossibly thick, loose skin. The badger, meanwhile, was a furry tornado of claws and teeth, relentlessly and intelligently attacking the gator's most vulnerable spot: its eyes. The gator, the undisputed king of the swamp, actually turned and retreated into the water. Back at the FWC headquarters, this report landed like a bomb. It was the ultimate what the moment. The team realized, with dawning horror, exactly what they had done. They hadn't just introduced a new species, they had unleashed a new apex predator. This creature was smarter than a raccoon, tougher than an alligator, and showed absolutely zero fear of humans. The python invasion was a slow, silent ecological disaster. This was different. The pythons were a creeping shadow. The badgers were a full frontal assault. They were fast, terrifyingly smart, and relentlessly aggressive. They were outthinking, outfighting, and outbreeding everything in the ecosystem. The order came down from the highest levels, effective immediately. Project 110X was to be terminated. The official story was simple. It never happened. Any field agent, any biologist, any hunter who knew was to be silenced. The reports were to be scrubbed from the servers, the data deep-sixed and classified, and the remaining badgers still held in the Hendry facility? They were to be rehomed, a quiet, clean euphemism for a problem that was now anything but. So what do you think? Was this a brilliant secret success or a cover-up of a massive failure? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden stories.